Okay, we're live. Hey guys, how y'all doing? Hello, pretties. Welcome to Webstro. My name's Vivi. So I'm doing a video live that I've never done before, so I'm a little nervous because I don't think anyone's gonna watch since I didn't really announce it. It just kind of happened. But I'm off of work today. It just so happened. I live in Austin, Texas, if you don't know that. And there is another winter storm again. So they shut down work for today. All right, they're being loud. They shut down work for today. And I really didn't have anything else to do. And I was like, maybe I'll do the video that I finally, for the first time ever, got requested to do by a subscriber. Her name is Lilia Campos. And she asked for me to tell her recommendations as for Los Angeles and her palettes and all that stuff. So I decided to do a live, and essentially we can talk about all of Los Angeles because why not? This is definitely my go-tos. If you are to buy from Los Angeles, this is my top recommendations, and I'm just gonna guide you through some of the other items in case maybe something is not my preference, but it might be yours, kind of thing. And just gonna put it out there. Now, I have owned at one point or another almost everything she's come out with except for one, technically two items, and that's have all her little cards that she's gonna come out with. From the Glazed and Bronze collection, I did not get the highlighter palettes. I ended up getting the trio of the liquid lipsticks, which what's dumb now I'm thinking about it. For the lipsticks and one of the palettes for free, and one of the palettes for $2 more than I would have paid for the trio. Dumb mistakes, but I don't love highlighter that much. I've mentioned that before to you guys, so if you see this on the replay later, you know that I don't love highlighter. So I just figured, what's the point in buying the palette that's not my favorite thing. Plus, I already own her 3 loose highlighters, which I really do enjoy, so I didn't feel the need to also own the palette. You know what I mean? But anyway, not the point. I actually would consider buying that palette if I happen to finish all of my highlighters except for Opal from Becca. I actually would consider buying that one, but not right now. I'm okay for right now. So I have all of her products that she's ever come out with here. There's a couple of products that I have finished. I finished quite a few of her liquid lipsticks before, and I did declutter 2 of her liquid lipsticks, which I'll talk about that later. But for now, I want to talk about the items that, they will be missed. They're no longer part of Los Angeles, and I just want to tell you that, you missed that. That's it. You just missed that. Actually, 2 that you didn't miss out on is this liquid liners. You can't really tell, but they used to be from Los Angeles. They're completely blacked out. I did ended up decluttering them because they're just really old. They're a little dry. And she doesn't even sell these anymore, but they're just really dry. They're really dry. But they were always kind of dry. They did last in the waterline for a long time, but they were just definitely not my preference. Just wanted to quickly mention those. She has, from what I'm seeing on her website, pretty much her entire Sleigh Bell collection. All of these are pretty much out. They're not there anymore. So she had the 3 liquid lipsticks, which one of the ones that I ended up decluttering was the Rose Icing liquid lipstick, and that's the specific formula that she has where it's a metallic liquid lipstick. I didn't care for that formula. It was a little too thin for my liking, so you couldn't really see the sparkles, but then if you layer it on too much, it looked cakey and crepey, so I didn't care for that one. All of the other liquid lipsticks I really enjoyed, but that's the other one that I didn't care for, and I ended up decluttering it. Now, Pouty and Ice, which is the pinky shade over here, I actually did end up finishing it already. And then Christmas is the other one that I still have left, which is this red right here. And it is my absolute favorite red liquid lipstick. It's not quite a vibrant red. It's a little muted. It's a little dark without being too overwhelmingly berry. I am running low of this, and that's how I figured out this collection was getting discontinued, because I went to the website to try to buy a replacement for this before I ran out, and it was gone. Just gone. Just like that. I sent an email to her customer service like, hey, would you guys ever restock that specific shade or make it part of the permanent collection? And I got crickets. So Laura Los Angeles, Larry, if this somehow makes its way to you, please make it permanent, or at least give me whatever you guys have left in back stock. I'll take it. I'll take whatever you have left in back stock because I can't live without it. It is my only red liquid lipstick that I own, and I really like it and I really enjoy it, and I can't live without it. And it's a really unique shade and it formulas, so I need that. That being said, all of her liquid lipstick formulas are actually very, very nice. They're very comfortable. They're soft. They're like a demi matte. They're not quite matte all the way, so they're not drying. They do have a slight tag. It does go away with time, but I actually ended up decluttering Naked Naked to my friend Natasha. Naked Naked was just too light for my skin tone. It didn't quite look good on me, but my friend Natasha is significantly lighter than me, and that shade on her looked amazing. She took it to Worst Fest, which, if you're not familiar, is a beer festival, and she was out there drunk out of her mind, drinking beer, and she didn't once retouch up her lipstick at all, and it lasted throughout the entire night. So I was just like, that's awesome. I'm so proud of you. That's amazing. And she's like, yeah, I just got home, and I was like, oh man, my lipstick's probably gonna look like a hot mess, but I really didn't care. But she's like, but actually looked amazing still looked like when I first applied it. It is a liquid lipstick, so it does emphasize a little bit of lip texture, but I find that to be the case with all liquid lipsticks, unless they are, what's it called? The ones that are supposed to be like creamies, where they're not supposed to ever dry down, but they're supposed to be more like bullet lipsticks. Those seem to not affect its texture as much. These have very, very minimal texture that I've seen with them. I've had and I've owned other liquid lipsticks where there's a lot of texture that comes through. So you almost can't tell. If it wasn't because my lips are wrinkly, you might have not even been able to tell either. But I have wrinkled lips, so I can see that. So, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, it is what it is. Unless I start getting injected, it is what it is. And I'm not going to do that. Now, of a regular demi matte liquid lipsticks, there is one formula that's slightly different, and that's the one for Cabana. I think this is Cabana. Yeah. And that Cabana is slightly lighter. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the glitters, but it does have little glitters. Don't think the camera's gonna pick it up. And you can't really tell when it's like still wet. You can kind of see it in the tube. But once it dries down, you will see those glitters once it dries down. Now, Lara Los Angeles liquid lipsticks are really good about layering on top. She always layers her liquid lipsticks, and so that was the mentality behind it. So, you can layer something on it. So that being said, if you were to put a gloss on top, I think those little glitters are going to be even more reflective. They're going to look real nice. Now, I can tell you, you don't feel them. So if you don't feel the little glitter, you can see them, but you can't feel them. There you go. That's what I'm trying to say. But her liquid lipstick formula is a high for me. Now, there are 3 shades that I really, really, really like. Technically 4. I just don't own one of them anymore because I finished it. So that's going to be Mai Tai, which is this one right here, which is like a soft corally peachy shade. You have, what is this, Skimpy, which is more of like a mauvey, soft, pinky shade. And they're kind of similar, but this one's more cool tone, this one's more warm tone. You have Show Off. I really like. It's like a deep burgundy mauve. And then I really like Jaybird, but that one I finished. It's very similar tone and depth in this one, but that one's more warm neutral versus this one's a little deeper. This one more mauve. And then you can't really get any more, but Kiss Mess right here. Yeah. If you can only pick 3, I would say this 3 plus Jaybird, those 4, you're set. And then this one, if she was still selling, I would say those 5 are like the top 5 liquid lipsticks from Los Angeles. The other ones are nice, but I like these ones more. There's something about this tone which is very, very nice, and I think they're very versatile. Whether you're a light skin or a more deep skin tone, you're still going to be able to look beautiful in it. Now, so we've talked about her liquid lipstick, but she has 3 different formulas. Again, the metallic one, I think you're right, is continued, thank God. You have the matte with little glitters, which is Cabana, which is really lipsticks, which is absolutely bomb AF. Very comfortable, long-lasting, very pigmented, and very blendable. So I really enjoy it. Now, she also has 2 glosses, and these came out with the Aaron Weaver collection for Candy Skies. So this one right here. And so it came out with this ones. So eBug is described, this eBug, as a sheer nude with light golden shimmers. And honestly, same thing as the Cabana shade. you can see them, but you can't feel them. That's exactly the way I want all my glitters to feel. Non-existent. It's not my preferred. It's essentially, honestly, just a clear gloss. You can't even really see it. It's right there. It's super clear. But I know it layers really well on top of liquid lipsticks. I have tried it in the past. And then my favorite one is right here, which is a clear rosy pink. Honestly, you really can't see the tint at all. It's just a clear gloss. You can layer it. There you go. This is the one right here. So it's a little more clear than the e-bug. They do layer really well on top of liquid lipsticks, but usually when I wear liquid lipsticks, I want to just wear my liquid lipstick by myself. The way I like to wear that is actually to grab one of my creamy bullet lipsticks. And sorry, I'm trying to wipe it off. So I like to wear my cream bullet lipsticks and just flare it on my lips and then wear the gloss on top, so it has a sheer color underneath. And then there's the gloss. These gloss are juicy. For a gloss, it's relatively long lasting, actually. Actually relatively long lasting. And that way I can keep the color underneath and it gives it a little more, because my preferred kind of gloss is the ones that have a bit of a pigment, sheer color to it. That's my preference when it comes to gloss. So this is the way of me getting the same effect with just a clear gloss, and it gives me a little more variety because I have multiple bullet lipsticks that have different undertones, and I can get that undertone and still get the look of the gloss. And it's not as thick as wearing an entire bullet lipstick or entire liquid lipstick and then gloss on top. I'm just saying, that's just my preferred method of wearing liquid lipstick and a gloss or clear glosses. I'm just sharing in case you want to try it if you haven't already done that before, because it's definitely not revolutionary by no means. You know what? I just realized I'm actually wearing our Los Angeles merch, little cat mini hoodie. So it's a cropped hoodie that she came out with a couple years ago. All right, let me get to that. All right. I'm not wearing makeup because it's not the mood. It's too cold for me to splash water on my face right now. But I'm having a really nice skin day, except for that little, it looks like I have a pimple coming, and I'm having a nice hair day. So I figured no makeup required. So let's skip makeup for a little bit. I think we've talked about all her lip formulas. Oh, right. If you have to pick between one of these two, I will go with Strawberry Sky. It is my favorite of the two, and I actually have a backup of this. So I really like these. I mean, e-bug's nice. I just like the other one better. That's all. And I think it's because it's a little more sheer. So if I were to put, like I said, that bullet lipstick underneath, it doesn't really affect the color whatsoever, where e-bug will change the color a little bit because it has a little more tint to it. But just want to put that there. Just want to put that out there. All right, moving along. Let's go to the items that are discontinued. She no longer has her loose highlighters anymore. She came out with 3 shades. So that is Sweet and Saucy, Sugar and Spice, and Warm and Toasty. So Sweet and Saucy is supposed to be her more pinky toned one. And then you have Sugar and Spice, which is supposed to be the more champagne one. And then this is supposed to be the more bronzy gold one, which is Warm and Toasty. There's honestly very few difference between these two. This was definitely not inclusive. I do think that this Warm and Toasty might have been able to go all the way to maybe medium deep, but definitely not for dark. It would have been way too light for anybody who has any dark skin tone. So I do see the need to come out with those palettes that she came out with, and one is aimed for more darker skin tones, the one for more light skin tones. So I totally see the need. I've not yet tried those highlighter formulas, but I have tried these ones and they're really nice. I also have tried the highlighter that comes in the blush palette, and all of her highlighters that I've tried from her don't have any actual glitter particles. They're more like shimmer. It's hard to explain. I'll just grab one and just kind of tap it. You see, there's not really shimmers. You're not going to see any glitters per se. It's very soft, very softly milled, which I prefer because it just blends right into the skin. Look at that. And there's no real glitters that stick out. And I really like this formula because it just blends right into the skin. And if you just put a little bit of setting spray on top, it becomes it becomes like a gloss. Like that's, I know that's, I don't know how to explain it. I'm so bad at explaining these, but it just becomes like a gloss. I really, really, really like the formula. From what I have tried from the blush palette, that glitter there, same thing, doesn't really, the highlighter there, also same thing, doesn't have actual glitter specks, which if you're someone that likes glitter in your highlighter, those are not going to have it. I personally don't like glitter in my highlighter, so I really enjoy these, and they can be showed out to be quite natural, or they can be more blinding if you target it a little bit more. It also depends how well you blend them. Like if you spend a lot of time blending them and like really trying to get them to sink into skin, they're gonna look just like a nice natural glow. But if you want them blinding, you can definitely build it to a blinding highlighter without looking extra heavy because it's so finely milled. So I really like these actually. I really enjoy these. But unfortunately they are discontinued. I wish they would bring them back in like a permanent formula, and maybe with more shades that are darker for darker skin tones. Although she has mentioned in the past that she doesn't like to do a lot of like individual SKUs of things like this because it is quite expensive, which is why she ended up doing a blush palette, because it was more financially reasonable for them to do that. And she is a small indie brand, and she does self-fund, so I understand where she's coming from. I'm just saying, I don't like that. Although I do think that her coming out with the highlighter palettes does kind of compensate for that a little bit. So there's that. I do wish those were back. Another item that is discontinued is the original Cat's Pajamas. I know she got a lot of crap for this palette because of the packaging was just kind of all over the place. You have the glitters right here, which I really enjoy, that it's not like actual glitter, it just looks like glitter. And then the inside is roses, and then it's called Cat's Pajamas. It's like, where's the theme? I actually understand the theme was a little bit all over the place. But personally, it's all about the formula, and I really like the formula of these. I actually have two pans. There you go. I have two pans right here, and I have dips in Cookie as well as Cray Cray. When I first got this palette, I couldn't care less about these two shades. I just felt like those two were not necessary, so that's going to be Quirky and Out the Other. But then I realized Quirky is just a shimmer, while Out the Other really is more of a satin shade, and it's meant to be used more as a deepening shade, not necessarily as a shimmer all over the lid. It has more, you can use it more because it is very highly pigmented, and it's very easy to blend. Now, her eyeshadow formula, I'm going to discuss like all her different kinds of formulas later. I really don't want to get into that right now. I just want to say, you may rest in peace. You will be missed. You're great. I actually really like this palette. It is right now in my collection my oldest palette. Oh no, we had a little accident. My oldest palette, I got it right at launch. It's the only collection that I think she's dropped that didn't have one of these little carts in it. So it will be missed. Let's take a break from makeup and let's talk about tools. She actually has quite a bit of tools. So she has her little dual-sided mirror. It's actually quite cute. There's one that's magnetized and then one that's like more regular. So I really like it. I think it's cute. I don't own any mirrors like this. So I think it was cute. Again, it just came with the collection, so I was fine with it. She has her makeup sponge. Her sponges are bomb as fuck. Every time I place an order from her, I always order 2 extra ones. It's such a good, they're such a good sponges. I think right now I have like 4 or 5. I have 2 of them that I've definitely had for almost a year, and they're still not cracking. When I wash them, I'm able to take all of the color off. It does have an interesting texture where it almost feels like silicone, but it's not silicone whatsoever. It definitely doesn't absorb as much product as you may think. Like this is one of my L'Oreal Essentials, and I use it like I normally would use pretty much everything. And in contrast, let me grab one from, here's one from Real Techniques. Do you see how much darker this one looks than this one? It just doesn't absorb as much product. I don't know how to explain it. It really just doesn't absorb as much product. That's where my concealer would go, so that it will look darker. The color doesn't help. But it doesn't absorb a lot of product. It blends beautifully. I personally really like the shape that it's a little bit longer. So I think it really helps with, especially my cream and bronze and contour. It does a really good job of like shaping. Also really like the size of this. It's a little bit thinner. So it goes right into my under eye whenever I have to set it. So I really, really love this sponge. I repurchased it multiple times, and I'll keep repurchasing it. It's a little bit expensive, This one's $12, while you can buy two of these for $7. So definitely more expensive, but they're worth it. Absolutely worth it. They blend and last a really long time. So just want to put that out there. Other tools that she's had, she's come out with a couple of bags. So great. She has two bags that she's come out with. This one's pink. This one's more like a cream color. Now this one came out with her original brush collection, which this one's no longer available, unfortunately. So there's that right here. And it also, this one came out with her brush collection. I haven't actually used this one because it's essentially the same bag as this one. They're just different colors. But they're actually quite big. They can fit her Nutty Patootie palette, which, if you know it, it's actually a pretty big palette. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a little snug. It takes a little work to get it in there. It's not as a easy fit as you may think it may be, but it does fit in there because I've definitely tried it and traveled with it. It's meant to fit it. So there's that. It's a little snug. Now, my favorite of her bags that she's come out with, by the way, these are actually quite affordable. They're not crazy expensive. It's actually this black one. It came out with her mystery boxes. I didn't get anything from her mystery boxes because I was like, I own everything you've ever come out with. I don't need a mystery box because I'm going to just get duplicates. So, by the way, Lunar Beauty Many MUA's brand just announced that they're going to be doing a mystery box. I've never had anything from Lunar Beauty, but I've wanted to try a lot from them. So I'm going to place an order for one. I'm really scared to do that. Because I just posted my low buy for the year, and I'm scared of what that's going to do for my numbers, but I just want to try it. I really hope I get the Eclipse palette, the palette, which that's going to fuck up. I'm saying it's going to fuck up my blush low buy, like completely going to blow it out the park. And it's completely going to blow up my liquid lipstick as well as gloss, because that's pretty much all he owns, liquid lipstick and glosses. But that's okay. I'm not as worried about either of those categories. It's just not a category I'm particularly attracted to. Liquid lipsticks, I like liquid lipsticks and I wear them a lot, but it's not something that I'm like attracted to. Her glosses though are amazing, and I'm not worried about getting more glosses. I know I can go through them. But anyway, this is my favorite one from L'Oreal Sanchez. This one, you're gonna get a little wiggle room. It's gonna fit. There's gonna be some space to wiggle. It's only just slightly bigger than these ones. It just doesn't hold as weight. If you're wondering what all the white fussies are, it's called I Have a Husky. She's white and her name's Athena. And so I just have all those hairs from her. But it's actually quite spacious. There's a lot of room. It's actually quite deep. You can put quite a bit in here. And this also helps that there's a little more room here at the top on the back. So if it's a little stuff past the top, there's room. You have a little handle. I love that it has a little thing right here. So if I have something that I'm like, oh, I'm worried it might spill or something, I can just put it right here on the top. And that's it. This is my favorite one out of all ones. It's just a little bit bigger, but not too much bigger. And it just has a little more room. And you have a little more finesse with it. There you go. Finesse. That's the word we're going to use. All right. So, and again, if you can only buy one, this is the one. This is the one. Yikes. All right. Moving on to more tools. We're talked about the brush set. Now, out of her original brush set, I actually really liked quite a few of these brushes. I use them all the time. But like my top ones where like you definitely need to own this one is right here. L18 is like a tapered blending brush. I actually own like 4 of these. And I didn't realize this until I was trying to pull out the brushes for this video. And then I realized, oh man, it's the same one. Hold up, there's more. I know there's more. Oh, bam, another one of L18. I know I have more. It's not. Bam, another L18. I really love this brush. It's a really good brush. It's my favorite blending brush from her. And I also think I have duplicates of this blush brush. I think it's an amazing blush brush. I really like it. Really enjoy it. Nice and tapered. It's a little small. I love the bronze blush. I think brush. It fits perfectly right here. So love that one. Although I don't own duplicates of this one. I didn't feel the need to. Now, I do own duplicates of this Kabuki brush. It is AF. All my brushes are. I haven't washed them. Don't judge me. I may do it today because I have nothing better to do. So, might do it. Now, I will say this one is a little bit rougher than the rest of the blushes. Not so that it's rough. It's just a little bit rougher. It might be just what I use with it, because I have noticed that it depends on what foundation I'm using. It sometimes looks or feels softer. When I use my tinted moisturizer, it definitely gets a little hard like this. But when I use like my regular foundation brush, like my regular foundation, you see how the brush is. So I just wanted to note that depending on what foundation you use, it might feel different. Like this one feels super soft, but this one feels a little bit rougher whenever I use my tinted moisturizer specifically. Just want to note that. But I do have multiple of this. This is definitely a standout. Now, out of this collection, I have two brushes that are my complete standouts, and that's going to be the Kabuki Brush and the L18, except the blending brush. Those are my standouts. Now, from her other collection, again, these ones are sold out. I do hope she brings them back eventually. I can definitely see her bringing back. I know that she definitely brought back the Kabuki in the new format, because the new brushes are now this like black ones. I actually like this one's the bristles better in this one, as I like this one. Not to say that these ones aren't soft, but these ones are extremely soft. So I definitely do want to pick up the Kabuki in this new format, but they sold out, and I forgot that they had relaunched on Friday, like 2 weeks ago. When I went to look, they were sold out. I was still able to get extras of this one, so I actually have multiple of this big blending brush, and I wanted to get also extras of the little bending blush, as well as this brush right here. I wanted to get one more extra of this one. I wanted to get two more of this little small one, and I wanted to get two more of this big one. I did get two of these ones, and then this one's where on the website sold out, and then like a couple hours later they came back, and I was like, what the F? I would have bought them if I had seen them were still on sale at the same time. Now that I know they're back, but it doesn't make sense for me to pay shipping just for two little brushes, and these are only $5. So I'm like, for $10, pay $5 shipping. So I'm gonna wait until some of these come back in stock. I do want to restock this one, which is the L24, and I want to restock the Kabuki one. I want to buy two of those, and I do want to buy two of these ones. So standouts from this birthday collection, definitely the L24. It's a really nice brush. I've never owned a brush in this size, but it's really good for concealer, for cream contour. I've used it for foundation before. Really, really enjoyed it. And it's also good for powder. I have used it for powder ones, so like powder right here. Top notch, top notch. I really like the small taper brush. I think it's perfect when you're trying to go with like a deeper color in the outer corner. It does perfectly diffuses those deeper colors. I really enjoy it for that. And I really liked her little big blending brush. I think it's perfect just to diffuse the crease transition shade, and it's beautiful. So those are the top three standouts from this collection from the birthday. And again, whenever the Kabuki, because they added the Kabuki to this set, I want to get more of these Kabukis in this format. I'm curious to know if I'm gonna have the same issue once they switch bristles. You see, I'm curious. I just want to try that. But even if it's not the case, even if it's a little bit rougher with my tinted moisturizer, it's still relatively soft, and it does make a really great job of like blending my foundation, even if my tinted moisturizer too. So I still like it. I just want to put that on there. All right, so those are all of the brushes and the standouts of the brushes. The sets are a great value, especially if you buy the sets with the bags. These are great value. I think they come out to like 60 something or 40 something dollars for all these brushes, and these brushes are high quality. They blend very, very well. Really good quality. Highly encouraged. Okay. It seems like it's snowing, or it's just ice. No, it's just ice. It's raining ice. If you are hearing that, all right, this is what's happening. So again, those are the top brushes that I enjoyed most. I have heard a lot of good things about a lot of different brushes. I really like this one for highlighter. I don't know. These brushes were a little weird to me. Like, I didn't know what to do with this brush. Like, I still haven't really worn it. It's supposed to be for like blush. You can use it for bronzer. You can use it for powder. I actually really enjoy this big powder brush, which I didn't think I would, but I actually really enjoy it. Just the quick, bah, 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 and then you're done. So I really enjoy these. I think it probably has some residue because I can smell it. There's some residue there. I need to wash my brushes. That's what that means. I still haven't used this brush. It's meant to be for highlighter blush. I still haven't used the big blend brush. I probably should. I know that she also said that it can be used for bronzer because it's so big. I could see it being used for bronzer. I just haven't really used it. I don't know. Haven't had the need to like play with it. A lot of times I do makeup for work, and when I'm doing my makeup for work, I just want to go to the things that I know and just kind of get to it, you know? So there's that. But I really enjoyed that. So that was nice. Let's see what else. What other tools does she have? Is that all the tools she has? I guess so. She has a lot of brushes. She has 20 brushes that she's come out with. So, and again, they're very, very, very well priced. I think the most expensive brush is like $12. So nothing crazy. All the tools are very affordable because I've definitely, last time I bought a Morphe brush, I had to buy another Kabuki brush. This brushes do the same thing from Morphe where it gets stuck on my tinted moisturizer. But again, they don't do that with my other, like this same brush from Morphe. They don't do that with my regular foundation. They only do that with the tinted moisturizer. Anyway, these were over $20 for one brush. It's Morphe, okay? Morphe shouldn't be charging $20 for anything, okay? It's Morphe. Morphe is supposed to be affordable. No. So these are actually very, very affordable, and these are significantly higher quality than Morphe brushes. They're very, 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 very nice formula. So I really enjoy it. I guess that's all the tools, and we talked about everything that's discontinued. Let's talk about products that are on their way out. Because I know for a fact, oh wait, I forgot to mention one discontinued item, which has the top is the Sleigh Bell palette. So I'm actually going to say that Sleigh Bell is actually my least favorite of the palettes that she's come out with, and it's because it's 100% missing a transition shade. This cream shade is supposed to tone down this redness, but I really feel like you needed a transition shade, like a warm brown. I was thinking more like her, like, I don't know, something like Reveal. It needed something like Reveal right here instead. That's what it needed. So regardless, Jolly is a very unique shade. I don't have anything like that. Cherry Chocolate is a very unique shade. I don't have anything else like that in my collection. And I do have something similar to Wrapped Up, but not necessarily the same undertone. So I actually think these three shades are actually quite unique and very nice. But unfortunately, it is discontinued. But regardless, the quality of the palette, it's there. It's just, it was missing a transition shade, and it's hard to make a full look with this palette because of that. So least favorite from that. All right, so another item that actually is under its way out is her single shadows. Please disregard this top three right here. Just got my finger in there. Please disregard this top three. But this here are Los Angeles as excuse me. I have these three right here also learned in Los Angeles. There you go, these three right here. So I have 10 shadows. She came out with 20. This was a drop she made a while back. I want to see if I can find a little sticker for it. Was there no sticker for it? Maybe not. Huh. I know I've saved all of them. So if I don't have it, it means she probably didn't drop one. All right. Well, that's fine. So she came out with 20 shades. I have 10. 12. I have 12 of those. The ones that I thought I would like the most. I've mentioned this before, but Tan is my absolute favorite transition shade. I have a huge dip on it. I actually really like this shade. It's like a shimmer, but it has like a really unique undertone. It's like a silver with a green undertone. It's really, really beautiful. Now, these shades, I feel like is where she got to be colorful without being like too crazy. I actually think she should bring this back, these single shadows back, but I know it's gonna be the same thing as the SKUs. It's just too expensive. I understand. I get it. But I just want them back. Honestly, fine. You know what? I don't bring them back. Let me just have any duplicates you have of Tan. I'll just take any Tan duplicates you may have still around, playing around, samples, whatever. I just need duplicates of Tan. It's my absolute favorite. But these are actually quite interesting. A lot of of the shimmers have very unique undertones. Like I don't have anything quite like this. Silver Clouds. It is Silver Clouds, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Look at me. Silver Clouds is a very unique undertone as well. It's like a lavender, but it's a silver. You have this dark blue cobalt right here. You have this softer one. Yeah, we had a little incident with this shadow right here in the corner. We don't talk about it. This orangey right here, it has also a very interesting undertone. You can't quite see it. It's a little bit different. It's more metallic rather than shimmer. But yeah, I really like these, and it also came with actually a magnetic palette, which I actually really enjoy. It's a really nice magnetic palette. So those are on the way out. I think you can still get like a couple of shades in her website that they haven't completely sold out. But as they're selling out, I'm seeing them get removed from the website. So if you can get your hands on a couple of those, I highly encourage it. All right, let's talk about the last non-eyeshadow item that I haven't discussed, which is the Los Angeles Blush Aesthetic palette. This is the most recent collection drop that she had. Just drop those, and look at this beautifulness. Honestly, I have two favorite shades of blushes, and it's Georgia and Caramel from Persona Cosmetics, and I can find duplicates for both of these here. Now, what this palette's missing is a more bronzy blush. I'll pull out. This is the Shayla X Colourpop in Construct. So it's missing something like this, something more bronzy, reddish tone. That's what it's missing. Regardless, this palette is actually quite pigmented. There you go. It's actually quite pigmented. Some of these shades are similar, but not really. Like this is more peachy. It's going to look peachy in your cheeks, while this one's going to look more orangey on your cheeks. Now, these two, again, look similar, but they have different undertones. This one's more pink. And, sorry, it's hard to explain. This is like a soft baby peach, and it's going to translate just like that. This one's going to have a bit of a more blue undertone, I guess. And then you have the mauve and then Sangria. Again, these two are similar, but this was a more like red undertone. The undertone's really pretty, and you can definitely mix and match, because I have mixed this one right here with this and I liked it, and I mixed this one with the one right here, which I was like, I'm not sure how that's gonna work out, but actually turned out really well. And then this glitter right here, this highlighter right here, it's actually super soft, and it's same way, no glitters. If you were to have this right here, I'm just gonna put it right here, bam, and then I'm gonna grab Sangria. These are pigmented, by the way, and you are to like mix it in. It's one, gonna tone it down, and two, add a little bit of shimmer to that really easily. But again, these are actually quite pigmented, but they're easy to blend out, which does make me feel better. Like if something's easy to blend out, I'm like, all right, it's fine. It's easy to blend out. It won't give me a lot of trouble then. So there's that. Really, really enjoy this. Really nice. Like I said, the only thing was missing is a bronzy shade, but that's okay. I really do enjoy it. I know this was supposed to be like the first thing we got that's not made in the USA. This was made in China, but again, the quality's still there. I didn't think anything less from Laurel. I didn't think Laurel was gonna just all of a sudden drop quality just because it switched labs, but it's still really great quality. All right, so if you don't have a lot of blushes, or if you're trying to downsize your blush collection, you're trying to like get them all in one section, I think this is actually a really good opportunity of doing that. Like, I lost all of my blushes and I only have this blush palette, I'll be fine. If I had this palette and did it under Construct, then I'll be fine. These are all the blushes I need. But I don't think I could go without under Construct, because it is missing that one section. But it has almost every other blush I ever need. Very pigmented, very blendable. Definitely can go with a light hand and ease your way up. But if you're a darker skin tone, you're probably going to have a really easy time with those. Oh, also the blushes are all matte, which is my preferred formula. That's why she has a highlighter there. So if you want to add some extra shimmer, you can. So I'll put that there. All right. So now let's talk about the palettes that are still around. So pretty much all the palettes have the same formula, except for Party Animal. Party Animal does have the pressed pigment Now, I know Laura got a lot of crap from the BoxyCharm community when this came out. And I watched a lot of those videos, and a lot of those girls honestly had no idea what they were doing. Because it is a pressed pigment palette, it's not the same formula you would use just with an eyeshadow. You can't just grab a big ass fluffy brush, dip it in the blue, and then put it on your crease and try to blend it like a brown. That's not how that works, and it's what a lot of people are trying to do. You really need to press the pigment down and then blend the edges, and it's not going to look extremely sometimes people like diffuse it and like a very ombre effect. It's hard to do that with a pressed pigment because they're so pigmented, the shades. So when you try to add more color in a specific area and then try to diffuse it and make it look that ombre, if you try to dip again to go back in and do that, you're pretty much messing up. You really just have to work with what's in your brush and not add any extra product, because the moment you do, it's a pressed pigment, it is going to be pigmented. It's so pigmented, you're not really going to be able to do that. That sounds like Manny MUA. So yeah, this is that. It's just a little pigmented. Regardless, this formula is nice. This shade right here is a party. It's actually quite unique to me. It's like a neon lime green, and it's really nice. It's really interesting. Hung over, it's actually a Duochrome. It doesn't look like it, and I didn't know this, but it looks, again, really purple. Now you just swatch it, and then you start. Oh gosh, I made a mess. I grabbed too much product on my finger. Oh no. Do you see that? The undertones are pink, and you can definitely see those undertones. There you go. Whoop, whoop. There's like a duochromeness to it, and it's just very nice. I will say, and Laura Lee has said this herself, this palette does not quite feel like the same aesthetic as the rest of our collections, because it is a little bit too bright, too poppy. I will say the packaging for these was bomb.com. I throw away almost all like the cardboard boxes that these things come out with, but I couldn't for these two, because they came out in the coolest thing ever. Like, come on. And then you just pull out the little thing. I still have the cardboard boxes for these ones. You see Party Animal right here, and then you have the box. Oh, I put it backwards for Hustle Heart. And then Boss Baby has its box right here. I couldn't throw it away. Like, this, come on. This packaging, just killing, murder, and taking names. Jesus Christ. I couldn't get rid of it. And it has like this like nice little like velvet texture to it. So I still have it. It just was so nice. And in the little like bag, little card that came with it. So you have Boss Babe on one side, and you have Party Animal on the other one. I will say this is the only rainbow palette that I do own, so I'm actually quite happy to own it, even though I don't think it's aesthetic. Sometimes, in the rare moments that I feel like playing with color, this is one of the palettes that I reach for. Actually, technically, I do own two rainbow palettes, both of them from Los Angeles. I'll go over that a little bit. But again, really, really, really like it. Really like Party Animal. In the rare occasion that I feel like going for color, that's where I know I'm going to go. It does sting your finger because, again, it is pressed pigment. So the other side of that is Boss Babe, and it is just your most basic neutral palette ever. I actually really like all the shades, and it's really, I don't particularly go for this kind of like yellow gold, but there's something about this particular yellow gold that is so vibrant, it's so in your face that I really enjoy. And it's also so soft. Like, these shimmers are so soft. I do have a nice little dent right here in Deadline, and I really like Clock Out for a wing or in the outer corner, or if you want to do like a really matte smoky eye, that's the one. And then there's something about 9 to 5 that really just, it adds a little something. So I really enjoy that as well. But again, this is part Boss Babe. If I have to pick one, if I have to pick all her eyeshadows, this honestly wouldn't be my top priority. Either one of these would, but I'm glad I have them. But if I was like new into the website, I've never had anything from Laura Los Angeles before, this wouldn't be my top go-tos, like at all. Like, I wouldn't. But I still really like them, and I use them a lot, even though, because they are in my collection. So there's that. All right. So then we're down to the last three palettes. So let's just go with the original Nudie Patootie. Nudie Patootie killed. It doesn't smell. I don't know why I did that. It doesn't actually have like any smells or anything, but it's quite nice. It does have some interesting textures, and you can definitely see it. I really enjoy it. It's quite buildable. It's quite pigmented. I do think it needed something a little bit darker. Nakey is the darkest shade, and although it can be dark, it's not as dark as you may think. So I do feel like it was needing maybe one more deeper shade. Also, Butt Naked, I wish Butt Naked was a little bit deeper. You see the difference. Wow, I didn't realize how big of a dip I had in there. But there's a big gap in shades between Butt Naked and Nakey. So it was missing like something in the middle that was a little bit darker, you know. But regardless, I really like it. Nakey is a little bit more cool toned, surprisingly. Very neutral, and Butt Naked is a little more warm toned. The palette is, for the most part, doesn't lean either too cool or too. It really just stays right in the middle. I do think that Strip and Bare add a little something to the palette. It's still neutral, but it just gives you a little bit of more undertones with these two, just like a peachy shade and then that mustardy neutral shade. And I really enjoy that. I think, like I said, it just adds a little something. Now, personally, Undressed is a little too light for me, so I end up using this shade more just to set my base down. That's usually how I end up using that shade. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, yes, I did. Okay. I need to wipe my fingers before I make a bigger mess. We have another guest. Yeah, my dogs are here. They're so excited to have me home. I worked for like an hour or two, and my dogs are just like, where is there? I wish I could take my dogs to work every single day. But anyway, I really like these. This color story just calls me. It has like a very soft, neutral glam. You can definitely do softer looks. You can definitely spice them up a little. And I think the textures from right here and even this one right here just add a little something. I do think Exposed as well as Uncover were quite a little bit too similar. Don't know if you needed both, but they do have different textures and different undertones. So Silver is more like a white silver, where Exposed is more of a gray silver. So it does have add a little something to it, but they are quite similar. Also, the formula is different. Right here, Uncover is a little bit softer, while Exposed has a little more texture to it. But again, just want to put that there. Regardless, very, very nice neutral palette. You have Nudie Patootie, Nudie number 2, which is definitely more pinky toned. So you have Bum, which is definitely a true peach color, and you have Patootie, which is more of a warm tone. And then you have Blushing right here, which is more of a softer pink. And then this right here, Low Cut, is more of like a rosy shade. And then you have Risque. Now, Risque, I really wish this palette had a dark brown, but I know that she meant for this palette to be used in companion with Nudie Patootie. So, because of that, you're supposed to be reaching into the deeper browns of Nudie Patootie. That was the mentality. This would be an extension of this palette. So, it's supposed to be, if I open it, there you go. So, it's supposed to be extension of one another. So, essentially, you just have a gigantic palette. That's what it was meant to be. I understand that. Now, her shimmers in here are beautiful, but she did also introduce 2 new formulas right here. And this is the palette that eventually made her leave her current lab, because they did her dirty. If you don't know, they wasn't full coverage. Check that out. So they do look quite similar. They just have different undertones. So we have one here, and they're more like glittery chopper shades. They're very creamy. They almost feel putty. You can definitely see right there the difference in undertones. This is more of a warm neutral, while this is more of a pinky toned. Very, very nice formula, though. I do enjoy grabbing more tissue. Wipe the rest of my fingers because they're just dirty. But yeah. And then the last of her palettes is going to be Candy Skies. Now, Candy Skies is a rainbow palette, but it's more of a soft rainbow palette. It's meant to be more of pastel colors, but then you do have this bright fuchsia. And then this fuchsia right here really can look a little purple. It has like a purple undertone, which helps it go along with this shade right here, so it doesn't look too stark. You do have this dark purple right here. You do have a more blue raspberry, which is a more neon shade versus the other ones, but I think neon in a shimmer is easier to wear than a neon in a matte. So this shade is quite hard to work with. Well, not necessarily work with, but like to integrate into the shades. That's what I mean. It's harder to integrate into the shades because it's so neon. It's a neon shade. Now this palette, even though it has colors, is not a pressed pigment, and I realize it's really easy to blend. I do love this sky blue right here. I want to do a look with just this one. I really also want to do a look with just these two shades right here with these two greens. There's a lot. I really glad they brought in roasted caramel. I don't know. There's something about it that I really like it in this palette, and I personally really love these duochromes right here. You see this? It has like a blue, green, but it also has a warmthness to it. It honestly feels like a multichrome. And you see in the pen right here, it looks more like a blue-green. But it, like I said, it does have that warmness. It is a really, really, really nice duochrome. Gosh. Then you see right there the green, blue. I know. It's very, very interesting. It's definitely not I don't think it's meant to be a multi-chrome, but it almost feels like a multi-chrome. I want to see if the website, if the little thing pamphlet says anything. Nope. All right. Well, it's okay. But anyway, those are all the palettes. Now, if I would say you can only pick one, that's going to be rough. That's going to be really, really rough because it just depends. If you're more of a colorful gal, I would say pick Candy Skies. If you're more of like a rosy nude, go with Nude Patootie. Sorry, nude number 2. If you're more like a soft glam gal, I would say Nude Patootie. If you can only have a handful of products from Lara Los Angeles, I would actually recommend you to have all 3 of these palettes. These 3 right here. Which, by the way, Nude Patootie and Nude number 2 go on sale all the time. So you can definitely buy those on sale. Like, wait for it, they'll come on sale. And I would definitely recommend you to get Strawberry Sky. I would definitely tell you to get these 3 lipsticks right here. And that's going to be Skimpy, Mai Tai, as well as Show Off, and then Jaybird, if you want to throw the Jaybird in there. So those 4 lipsticks. And I would definitely tell you to pick up a brush set. If you pick up like the birthday brush set, you're going to get the Kabuki brush, and you're going to get a nice bag to go alongside it. So you're going to get a lot of everything. And I will also say definitely get the blush palette. I wouldn't necessarily want all that different colors of highlighter. I think highlighter is one of those things where it's harder to tell if there's an undertone, different undertones to it. But if you get the blush palette, there's definitely going to be able to tell, oh, I have an orangey, I have a peachy blush, I have a pinky blush, I have a mauve blush, I have the Sangria shade. You're definitely going to be able to tell more. So like if you can only buy a couple of things from Lara Los Angeles, you're looking at these 4 palettes right here. These are musts. And you're looking at these 3 lipsticks plus Jaybird. Again, get a and top. Like if you're gonna make one purchase to Laura Lee, what am I getting? That's what you're getting. Okay. Oh, and Strawberry Sky, of course. So you get 5 lippies, 3 eyeshadow blushes, 1 blush, and you also get the 1 highlighter in here. You get the brush set and the free bag that comes alongside it. That's what you need to do. Is it gonna be expensive? Yeah, but wait. Just wait for the next holiday. Wait for the next holiday. Hopefully the brush set is still in stock at that time, because that Lara Los Angeles always has really good sales. Either with her liquid lipsticks or Nudie Patootie or Nudie number 2. And usually if you wait for a sale, you're going to see them. She also has a lot of bundles, so you can maybe already have, I think they may already have a bundle in which you can get most of these liquid lipsticks. So I would just wait she has a lot of sales. And then you just have to add a couple extra things here and there in order to like overcompensate whatever it's not there. Now, that's pretty much it. That's all like the major recommendations. I really just want to quickly just talk about her different textures and formulas that she has in eyeshadows. So we mentioned, or I mentioned the Boss Babe. These are her pressed pigments, so it's a little bit different. She does have a couple of this like sequin, there you go, shades where they're like mattes, but they have little glitters. Honestly, if you just tap it out, you're not going to be able to see it. It's just the matte formula. We have the pressed pigment. She has a really, really, really nice shimmer formula. So if you're having to use her regular shimmer formula, these ones are soft and buttery. Like, I'm gonna show it. Soft and buttery. And if you were to grab the same shade and then do it with a brush, this is honestly a super cheap brush I got from Wish. You grab it like that, and then you do that. You're gonna get just as good. It doesn't swipe as much down, but you're gonna get just as good of an impact. If it wasn't wetted, it was just and this is a cheap brush. Again, cheap. Got it from wish.com. Cheap brush. And look at that effect that I got. Those shimmers are soft. They're buttery. Obviously, if you do it with your finger, it is more intense. Look at that. I just went over it a couple of times. It is more intense. But there's still, even if you go just with a dry brush, you're still getting a super nice effect. Tell me how many other like cheap brushes, no water, can do that, Very, very nice. And again, super soft and buttery. Her mattes feel like velvet. That's not an exaggeration. They honestly do feel like velvet. So I just want to put that out there. And they're quite buildable. So for example, we're going to go with Deadline. Again, this is a soft matte shade, right? It's actually quite pigmented. Again, they blend very, very easily. See that? Just blends super easily, diffuse nicely. If you want to build them up, they can build. See if I build it one more time. They can definitely build. I think that might have been too light a shade to really show how much it built. But let's grab another darker shade so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to do 9 to 5 right here. Again, they feel very velvety, very soft. Very deep shade right here. Trying to see where I can do this. I'll just do it right here in my palm. So again, very deep shade, but again, they blend beautifully. Beautifully. Look at the diffuse. But again, very, very nice. And if I want to build it up, just grab some more and you can build that color. And just for fucks and giggles, look how dark you got. So you can definitely build these up. But her mattes are super, super blendable. I don't care what brush you're using. They honestly only take a couple of swipes and they almost blend themselves. If you have no blending skills, you can blend these shadows and still be able to build that color. So her mattes are absolutely stunning. Stunning. So this is her normal shimmer formula. Now she does have another shimmer formula. Try to wipe my finger some more. She has multiple shimmer formulas. So this is her more soft, traditional shimmer formula. Same thing as Undercover. But then she also has Exposed. Not Exposed. Sorry, not Exposed. I don't know why I grabbed Exposed. Exposed has her same like formula. It's just a little more, has a little more chunk to it. But All Natural and Jaybird, these are her foil shades. Now both of these are actually duochromes. I'm gonna put them on my finger, on my hand right here, and then you see the duochromeness. I think Jaybird, you can see the duochromeness a little bit more than you can with All Natural, but they're also high shimmers. Now this is meant to be a little more glittery, a little more chunky, but honestly, they're slightly more chunkier than this ones because these ones are super soft and buttery. These ones are a little more thicker, but they're not glitter shades. I just want to put that out there. They're not glitter shades. They're just a little bit more textured, a little bit chunkier compared to the ones, but they're not glitter shades. Although she does recommend to wear a glitter glue or wet them or something just to give more of that effect of the duochromeness. But there's that. So there's that. And then she also does have two different textures right here. This one's a soft duochrome. See, it looks white right here, but if I put it down, it actually has like a, you can't really see it on camera. Okay, well, whatever. It has like a pink shift to it, and it's super soft. And then you have the shade Buff right here, and Buff is like greedy. It's a little bit hard. And I guess if this was supposed to be like kind of like the in between these two, and you can definitely use this as a matte, but it has like a parallelization to it. It's really quite interesting, but it is a little bit drier than the rest of the formulas. It still performs really well. It does blend really nicely, and you can definitely see those shimmers. If this feels more like a sequin shade more than anything else. This is the only one that I like the color. You work with it. I just don't love the formula of this as much as I really like the other ones. Can I work with it? Yes. Is it easy to work with? Yes. I don't know. There's something about that I don't like per se. But there's nothing wrong with it. I can't tell you there's something wrong with it except for the fact that it feels a little bit drier than the rest. But it doesn't feel dry on the eye. It doesn't flake or anything. I don't know. There's just something odd about that shade. I can't quite put my finger on it. But there's that. It is a little bit more, I don't know. It's just weird. It's hard to explain. My little paper is like super dirty. Oh no, it's so dirty. All right, gotta quit wiping my fingers. I really cannot wait to go wash my hands right after this. All right, then I already mentioned her topper shades, which are these two right here, and I already swatched them right here, so you can see they're more undertones. They feel putty at the touch, like they feel putty. They're definitely not. They're like a cream to powder almost. Similar to Natasha Denona, but definitely not that. They look because they look glossy, like this. They look wet in the eyes. It's really nice, and they're definitely a little more greedy because these ones actually do have glitters and they're kind of glittery shades, but they're so soft you can't feel them. Same thing as the liquid lipsticks. I want to see it, I just don't want to feel it, and that's exactly what those are. And then she has her normal really buttery shimmer shades, which are these three right here. She has a sequin shade. Now this one, if you don't set the lid and you put this like on your crease or you put it all over the lid, you can actually see the glitters in this one. But again, that sequin. If you tap your brush, you definitely won't see those glitters. And you just put it into the crease and you blend it, you're definitely not going to see them. But if you pack it on your lid, you can see it. And then her beautifully buttery mattes as normal. So again, those are really good. All right. So then she has her duochromes. I did mention Candy's, this one right here is this one right here. And then she has another duochrome right here. It looks, see purple right there. And if I flip it, it looks pink. So this is her other duochrome. This shade and this shade do sting the lid a little bit, but they're quite nice. And her, what's it called? Mattes. Same thing. They're actually quite pigmented for pastels. Doesn't look that right there. But again, Lara Legendes, you can build that color quite well. For a pastel, that is actually very bright. Look at that. Very bright. You can definitely pack a punch. Also, my hand's kind of dirty. If you put it into your lid and you set your lid, or if you don't set your lid, you're going to see the color more. Even if you set it, you're still going to be able to see the color very well. But this one right here just has her normal super soft and buttery shimmer shades. And then just these two are duochromes right here. The rest are just the one shade, but really, really nice formula. I believe that's, oh, now there's some other formulas that she does have, but I haven't seen her use in her regular palettes. I mentioned her Buttery Mattes already. This is one of those sequin shades. Now this is not supposed to be a super opaque black, and she mentioned this when it came out. It's meant to be more of like a buildable color. So there's that. But she has their buttery shades, and then out the other I mentioned it does have a unique texture because it's meant. I think it's meant to be used as matte. It's meant to be used as a matte. It does have a little bit of shimmer or pearlization to it because it doesn't actually have any shimmers. You see that, but it's just shiny. But I think it's meant to be used like a deep purpley plum outer corner shade. So that was a unique shade. I don't think I've seen anything like that in her palette, in her other palettes, like a shade like that. But I just want to mention it because the most similar thing to it would be Buff. Remember that shade that I told you guys that I didn't quite put my hands on it? Buff is a more similar shade where it has, but this one has actual glitters where this one doesn't. Also, Buff is drier and this one's super soft. Very, very nice and shimmery. And then I don't think, oh, there you go. I don't think any of her, her single shadows just have a regular shimmer formula and mattes, except for this one right here, the orangey one. This one's a little bit drier. Drunk Flamingo. Drunk Flamingo does have a bit of a different. It's a little bit drier than the other one, but still feels and acts the same way. But that's about everything. It's a deep dive into Los Santos, all the different formulas of her eyeshadows, liquid lipsticks, brushes. Yeah. Again, if you can only currently what's on her website, what you can actually buy right now, if you can only buy a couple of things from there, you get yourself Candy Skies, Nudie Patootie, Nudie number 2. You get yourself Blush Aesthetic. You get yourself those liquid lipsticks, the one gloss. You're set. 5 lippies, 4 palettes, the brush set, and bag, brush and bag. It's not the big bag, but honestly, even this bag is really, really nice quality. So still get it. Oh, please tell me I don't just get dirty. Okay, I didn't. That's everything. I know it's a lot. I hope you enjoy it. Bye, guys.